we start or wait?
Yeah. I'm just waiting. We're just waiting for people to join in.
Sure.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our latest episode of our educational series. The chat function is open, so please let us know where you're joining us from while we wait for more people to join the webinar. I can see some familiar names on the list. No one is letting me know where they're joining from. Okay, great. Kalpana from Nairobi. Always good to have everyone on the call. Julian from London. Elizabeth from Zimbabwe. You're all welcome to today's session. Okay, I think we can just start the webinar already while others join in. Today's webinar, as always, is brought to you by ATTA in partnership with Travel World China. This webinar has been on for a while now. I think we've been having this series, every third month. It's part of our training webinars for ATTA members. And this especially is focused on China. We have two series or two episodes before this. First one was on, I think, nursing holiday waves, Lynn, attracting Chinese tourists to Africa. And then the second one was implementing effective tourism marketing targeting specific Chinese demographics. So you can always go on the website to watch the recording of these webinars, just in case you missed anyone. On today's session, we'll be looking at unlocking China's market with TWC's expat sales visits, TWC being Travel World China. Just our usual housekeeping before we start, the webinar will be recorded and a copy of the recording will be shared after the session. So do well to catch up on anything you miss out on during the live session. We'll also have time for Q&A after the presentation. So if you have any question for Lynn, just pop that into the Q&A box and we'll treat those questions after the presentation. To take us through today, we have Lynn, as always, the Managing Director of Travel World China. Lynn is an accomplished professional in the travel industry, currently serving as the Managing Director of Travel World China Network Marketing Limited. She has a strong background in destination marketing and travel representation and plays a pivotal role in establishing Travel World China as a leading company in the Chinese market. Thank you so much, Lynn. The virtual floor is yours.
Thank you, Blessing. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me today on this webinar talking about China again. Over the past months and years, I have met many ATTA members, sometimes after the webinar I previously hosted or at Experience Africa events, etc. Who have expressed interest in exploring the Chinese market. They have been asking me some very common questions like, who are the top 10 Africa safari selling agencies in China? What are the best tourism exhibitions in China where they can make connections? How to identify the right agencies who can work in partnership with? It seems all come down to one key element, which is connect and establish a strong work relationship with the right Chinese agencies. It is at the core of their business needs. This especially applies to African incoming tour operators, DMCs, hotels, as well as the destination tourism organizations.
Sorry, Lynn, sorry
Yes.
to cut you. Someone has just said the sound is a bit faint. If you can turn the mic up. Yeah. Thank you.
Is that any better?
I mean, it's okay for me, but Julian, you can just confirm if that's better.
Right. Allow me to introduce myself. Blessing just did it. For those that haven't met me before, that my name is Ling Yu. I'm the managing director of Travel World China. I'm also the long-standing ATTA representative for the Chinese market. So Travel World China is a destination and a travel representation company, and we have been around since 2005. While we have been working with clients all over the world, we do have a particular focus on Africa in the past 10 years at the least. So in this presentation, I will share these discussions. Why unlock the Chinese market? The common challenges when entering the Chinese market. Then I will introduce our expert sales visits approach and our end-to-end sales support available. And after listening to all of those, if you feel this is something that you like to know more or you like to pursue, you would like to know how to get started. Finally, I will reserve a few minutes for question and answer section. So if you don't have any further questions, let's dive in. Why unlock the Chinese market? Let's look at the 2024 outlook. China's outbound market is projected to reach 80% of the pre-COVID levels, which means about 130 million overseas trips will be happening in 2024. And how I feel that based in the market myself and with my team, that we feel that a few past major travel season, for instance, the Chinese New Year and the May Day holiday, and just past the Dragon Boat festival, as well as the summer holiday, July and August. Generally speaking, we have heard very positive feedback from agencies, especially actually very encouragingly, especially for Africa. It's actually East Africa is doing particularly well compared with the pre-pandemic years, and that's down to many reasons. But strengthened China and Africa ties, diplomatic and cultural exchanges have enhanced the government support for travel to Africa. I think plays a very important role. Um, you know, over the pandemic, the global, how do you say, the relationship and dynamics has experienced a dramatic change. So the Chinese government actually have a particularly stressed on the China and African relations. So to make promoting Africa tourism is a very safe and also a very trending choice for the travel agencies. And there are also rising travel interest for Africa due to improved air routes, visa arrangements, and growing Chinese interest in Africa's wildlife, landscapes, and heritage. And also the Chinese high net worth travelers, now they more than any time before seek for ecotourism, wildlife safaris, and cultural immersion, and they take lots of interest in the luxury resorts in the Africa continent. Also, China is a lucrative market, we all know that, but what are the challenges of entering the Chinese market? Here are listed a few common challenges among many others. I often heard we have a language barrier, so don't know how to communicate with Chinese agencies. We send email over, but we don't hear anything back. So there is communication difficulties, whether you adopted the right tools, right means to read, to do the communication beside the language barrier. And then there's culture differences in business practices. And how to build a relationship with local decision makers and influencers remain a challenge, remain not a misery, but something that you probably need some guidance upon this point. And also to understand the Chinese consumer behavior and ever-changing travel patterns. China is a fast changing society, especially in the major cities, that the travel patterns move on from one year to another. So to keep up with the trend and grasp the travel pattern, to ride on those opportunities become increasingly increasingly important. And also that if you do want to come into China for a sales visit, or to just basically to crack in the market and meet with the right partners and to do a sales visit, you might find navigating the visa process and the travel logistics seems daunting, and that you would need some support with. So here comes to Travel World China's expert sales visit approach. I have many African travel business come to me. They're asking for our representation service. They're asking for how can we increase sales? How can we do the right thing? I usually advise them before you jump into a representation, do your research. Although the Chinese market is lucrative, is in terms of the market volume is huge compared with many other sourcing markets. However, whether it's the right market for you, you need to do a bit of research. You need to actually to taste the market before you make this decision. Do not jump into it. It can be costly. It can be time consuming, effort consuming, money consuming. So do the right thing by conduct or commit yourself with a sales visit as your first step. So at the beginning of this whole journey, this sales visit approach, we will design the sales visit proposal to boost your brand's presence and build a strong connection in the fast-growing Chinese market. We want to understand your business, your products, and we build up a tailored the Chinese market sales visit proposal for you. And we'll be focusing on a few key cities like Shanghai, Beijing, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen to maximize impact and engagement with travel industry stakeholders. Now, obviously, if your business is already well established in this key city, because usually the first tier 4 cities, they usually is the entry point for the Chinese market. But some African business I have come across, they have already have office in those cities. They're already well connected with those cities. Then you might want to further explore to the second tier cities. For example, Chengdu, Chongqing, Changsha, all these areas, they now have a new the international flight connections. They are quite convenient for the people in those regions to travel to Africa. So there's enormous potential in those regions. So you might want to dive deeper into the second tier or even third tier cities of China, not limited to these traditional 4 tier 1 cities. We can build either a 3-day sales visit for you to visit Shanghai or Beijing, or 5 days combining Shanghai and Beijing, or combining Shanghai, Beijing, and Guangzhou and Shenzhen. So really depending on your request and how many days that you can allocate to your sales visit. So typically we'll fit in about 3 to 4 meetings per day in this whole sales visit itinerary. So we will be taking you in our car to the preset meetings in the travel agencies. You might ask why only 4, but why only 3? Because these cities, China has got mass cities, the big mega cities. So from A to B does take some time, but that you can be sure that that you have the comfort of the private car, and these meetings are very much very much targeted and selected. So that makes your time well spent. So each option, we offer 3 or 5 or more days of targeted the market visits. So you have a curated meetings with key decision makers from leading Chinese travel companies, tailored engagement based on your company's specific goals and needs. Doesn't matter how niche your products are. Some companies come to me and say that we are only focusing on bird watching. We only do well spotting. We're very, very niche. Is it whatever how niche you are, there is always a match from the Chinese market because the market size, there is a very dynamic demand from the market. Obviously, that certain products may have a smaller market, but we can always fit you and identify and pick the right match for you. And during the process, TWC will provide end-to-end support. That's including we will allocate a knowledgeable staff member, accompany you as a guide and interpreter, ensuring the smooth communication and interaction for you during your meeting with the Chinese agencies. Earlier, I already mentioned we provide a streamlined and efficient travel logistics to ensure no time is wasted and from the time you land in the Chinese international airport, that we arrange a smooth pickup and drop-off service for hassle-free travel experience. And also, you might want some local expert advice on hotel bookings, suit your budget and the requirement. China has got lots of hotels in all these major cities. So, I encountered some questions like, if I come to visit, many of you thinking of visit, for example, before a major tourism fair. So to combine a sales visit and attending a travel fair together, that's a very good idea indeed. And not to worry about, those times the hotel might be in demand or more expensive, which is not the case because all these exhibition venues, they host various exhibitions all year round. So the rates is always stay the same, really. And all the major cities have lots of accommodation choices. So this is never be an issue to find even a budget hotel with decent standard and a good location. Last but not the least, that we also support you with some bits and pieces like the Chinese business cards. We translate and print your business card locally, so that you have the good presentation first presentation, given the business card to your Chinese partner, and we can also assist you with the visa application. So whether from Kenya, from Tanzania, from South Africa, from Namibia, or where you are, that we can assist you with an invitation letter to address to your local Chinese embassy to assist you with the visa application process. And also, okay, so you have a general idea about how the approach is looking like in terms of the sales visit. So, but how do we pick the meetings? How can you be sure that your time to China is well spent? And you're meeting lots of people, you're meeting, a couple dozen or even more companies. How do you know that they are the right match for you? So our process from client briefing. So we begin by conducting a thorough briefing with you to understand your products, your services, your operating destinations, and your target market segment. Well, some of you say that we only target for up end of the market, while some say that we want to the mass tourism. We want to the numbers, and also we will target certain demographics of the consumers in the Chinese market. So we understand what you are what you're looking for, what's your objective and your goals, and so we identify the corresponding customer segment and and specific how do you say the types of the companies which can help you to expanding your business in China. Then, the next step that we are looking into our comprehensive database, which that we have built over the last 20 years. We handpick the most suitable travel tour operators, agencies, and partners that align with your business goals. Whether, as I said earlier, whether your products are very niche or very mainstream, we ensure a perfect match based on your offerings and objectives. As next step, that when we understand your your product, what you're looking for, who you are hoping to meet, and then we will communicate directly with the selected agencies to present your product and confirm their interest. So that you can be sure at the point that you meet with the agencies is not the first time they heard about your company and the first time know about what you offer. Instead, they would have already a very good understanding about your product. They probably will have already done some communication. We already sent your signature products, your case studies, so they understand what you're offering and then confirm their interest of meeting with you. They might see their future groups that they can collaborate with you. And we always ensure that you're meeting with the key decision makers. To ensure the meaningful and high impact discussion. So our tailored matchmaking ensures that each meeting is purposeful, relevant, and with decision makers who have the authority to form partnerships or make purchasing decisions. So up to now, that if you feel that what I have just introduced sound interesting to you, that's something you would like to know more, and you may wonder how to get started. Um, so you can actually book a consultation call with myself or with one of our team members. So we schedule our first discovery call to discuss your goals and target market and expectations for your China sales visit. And then second step, you will receive a tailored proposal. So we provide a customized sales visit proposal, including all the essential details, including your travel plans. You may let us know that what will be your best time to travel to China. And that's a question that you probably many of you wonder what will be the best time to visit China. Let's say that apart from a few big festival seasons, other parts of the year, that's all good. For example, now we are in September. We'll have the next peak travel season at the beginning of October. Apparently, that is too late already to do anything for that. But November and December are very good months for sales visit. If you can, I like the time because there are many agencies. They are, preparing for their Chinese New Year bookings. So Chinese New Year happens next year, a little bit early. I think it's in January. So November and December will be good months actually to visit and then to actually discuss about their group booking needs. And then to avoid the Chinese New Year, which is a big holiday, spending about 2 weeks. And after that, March, April, May, June, I can't see any month that you should be avoided. We don't celebrate a Christmas. So apart from Chinese New Year, I would say any time of the year is good. But obviously, if you're thinking of visiting some travel fairs like ITB China, that's next year in May. So that's towards the end of May. So you can consider to combine these two purposes together, then May would be a good time. And then another travel fair, COTTM, which happening next month, next year would be the same in October. That's in Beijing. So these two fairs are the major outbound tourism fairs now in China. So one is in May, one is in October. And some of you might want to target some the Hong Kong market, for instance. Then that is a fair in June. That is the ITE Hong Kong. So so if around May and June, that if we can have extended visit, then you can visit China and Hong Kong within a same trip. And by the way, we can do the Hong Kong sales visit just the same. Once you receive the tailored proposal, then you may want to collaborate with us to fine-tune the proposal to your complete satisfaction, ensuring it meets your specific objectives. Once you confirmed, you made your mind up, and you would like to come to China for the sales visit with us, then send us your company profile and brief us on your business needs and goals for the Chinese market. Usually 3 weeks before your visit, we will begin handpicking and confirming meetings with key decision makers based on your targets. The Chinese usually are quite last minute. How do you say, they? I don't know about other markets, but they usually, especially the experts, the professionals working in the tourism industry, they don't know what's happening 3 months down the line. They're very busy. So usually we begin by approximately 3 weeks or 4 weeks before your visit date, and we've started to get the ball rolling. Um, yeah, so that is the procedure, that if you would like to get in further information and you want to get this venture started. So that comes to the end of this presentation. That I welcome any questions from
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much, Lynn. Thank you for that very educative and informative presentation. I'm sure most people on the call would agree that was very useful information when it comes to selling Africa to the Chinese market. Like we mentioned earlier, we'll now have some time for Q&A. So if you have any question for Lynn, the Q&A box is just at the bottom of your screen. I just pop that into the box and Lynn will be answering your questions. In the meantime, we have one question. How would this work for tour operators? I think you pretty much answered that already. Lynn, is there anything you want to add on that? But I think you've answered that question during the presentation.
Yeah. So how does that apply to tour operators?
Yeah.
Actually, this is especially relevant to tour operators. Majority of the clients that we had coming to China for the sales visits are the tour operators, DMCs. So they form partnership with the Chinese agencies, the Chinese outbound agencies who are specialized in selling Africa. So this is mostly relevant to tour operators.
Okay, great. Thank you. Well, this is not exactly a question, but this is from Julia. I'd love to book a private meeting and go deeper with conversation. Julia, Lynn's details will be shared. I think it's already on the screen. So after the webinar, you can always contact Lynn for more information. And Julian as well. Lynn would definitely come back to you with more information. Does anyone else have any question for Lynn before we bring this to a close? Okay.
Yeah. So thank you for joining today.
Yes,
so this is my contact information, and also on our website travelworldchina.com, that it pops up a e-newsletter subscription form. So if you subscribe to our newsletter, that you will receive monthly updates from the Chinese market, and also some of our observations and the trends. So welcome
Great.
to stay tuned.
Great. Thank you all. Thank you for joining the call today. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, we've had 2 sessions before this one, and you can always find those on the website, the webinar page on the website, if you need to, refresh your memory or just catch up on what this conversation has been about in the past month. There are useful resources for members, and a copy of the recording will be shared. And also be on the lookout for ATTA emails. We do have webinars in the coming weeks. We also have another educational webinar coming up next week. So do well to register for those you would be interested in. Thank you and have a lovely rest of the day.
Thank you very much. Blessing.
Cheers.